As you guys know, my name is Jenny Cooper. I've been here for almost 3 years now, so I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about this new feature that we have. It's called Projects, and my organizer today is Mr. Chad Klein. You guys all know and love him as well. Chad, if you could go ahead and start the recording for me, that would be fantastic. All right, guys, so today's webinar is titled, Do Your Homework, Add Jobs, Projects, or Patients to Your House Account Profiles. The technical level on this is easy. Now, what I'm going to do today, we're going to go ahead and talk about the feature itself, why you need this feature in your life and in your business, how it's going to make things a lot easier for you. And your life a lot more simpler when it comes to a lot of different things, both hardware and pharmacy. But when I say projects, what exactly does that mean in Paladin Point of Sale? We're going to talk about how to set them up. We're going to talk about how to apply a project to an invoice. And then we're going to talk about how to view that information by project at a later date in reports and such. We will also have a demo inside Paladin that you can reference later. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so why do you guys need this feature? Well, a few different things as to why this feature can be really useful to you within your business and really time saving as well. Number one, it allows you to track multiple jobs in one customer account. And I'm going to demo how to do that. So instead of having, let's say you have a contractor that comes in and they have multiple jobs they're buying for at one given time, instead of having multiple accounts for this one contractor, you can have one account with multiple projects to make the bookkeeping side of things a lot easier, as well as the cashier. That way they don't accidentally put a charge under a different account for a different job. Now on the pharmacy side of things, it also gives pharmacists a way to track multiple patients and bill a single doctor's office. So for example, we have a lot of pharmacies that will have, say, 10 patients come in and they all go to the same doctor's office, but the pharmacy will bill the doctor's office and then they in turn bill the insurance for the patients. So this is a good way to keep all of that under one account and then reference it later. It lets you filter report results by job or by project. I'll show you how to do that. It also allows you to calculate the totals by job. That way if someone, contractor A calls in and says, hey, I need to know how much we have spent on elementary school job, you can easily calculate the totals without having it be a half a day process for you guys. It also offers you easy access under one customer account, again, instead of having to fumble through and figure out exactly which account goes where for these jobs. You'll be able to do it all under one. All right, so what exactly are projects inside Paladin Point of Sale? Projects are a way to assign different jobs and tasks to customers with a single house account or a single charge account. Projects can also be used by pharmacies that bill a doctor's office for multiple patients. So just keep in mind what on the pharmacy, or excuse me, on the hardware side of things, what you guys may call jobs, Paladin refers to as projects. So that lingo will be interchangeable as far as that goes and within this presentation. But when you're looking for something physically inside Paladin for this feature, keep in mind it will say the word project or projects everywhere you go. All right, so how to set up these projects. These are the step-by-steps that will also be available in the Knowledgebase article. We're going to go through them, and then I'm going to demo them for you inside Paladin. So I'm going to set this up here just for a second, and then we're going to go ahead and demo it inside Paladin. All right, so how to set up projects. First thing we want to do, we want to click on the customer module up here at the top. And then we're going to choose a customer that you need to add the project to. So for in this case, we'll just do customer 4, all gas. And then on the bottom ribbon, we're going to click projects and authorized signers, which is F4. We're going to go ahead and click on that. And then in this window here is where you can do any of the following. You can create a new project, you can edit a project, make a project inactive, or you can restore an inactive project, just as if you had deleted an inventory item, and you can actually restore it. You can do the same with projects. So in this case, we want to go ahead and select the Projects button. As you can see, I have a couple of them already created, but we're going to go ahead and create another one. And so for this, we're going to create Project X. So we type in the name, hit Add, simple as that. This project has now been added, and we click F2 Finish. Now this next part is not required, but I like to do it just in case. We hit F2 or Save down at the bottom, just to triple check and make sure that your work has indeed been saved. So then if we go back into it, under Projects, you'll see that it's there, Project X. So that's how you create a project. Now, it's the same thing if you need to set one inactive. So let's say this customer calls in and says, hey, we need to go ahead and close out this job. We're done with it, charging-wise. So let's just select one, say Test 3, and hit Remove. Now, it's going to remove it from your active project list. Now, down here at the bottom, you can see Inactive. It's right here. So if you ever need to reopen that job for whatever reason, or if you need to go back in and reference something, you can always go back into the inactive list and take a look at it from there. Now, how to apply a project to an invoice. This looks like a lot of information on the screen, but it's really not as complicated as it looks, so don't worry. Note there are a couple of things with projects. They're only available for credit card and charge payment types. So if they want to pay cash, it's not going to work. We need to have record of this somewhere as far as that goes. Okay, and now also there's an option when we do the credit card transactions, an authorized signer also needs to be on there. And I'll go back and show you on that screen to make sure that we're on the same page as that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and demo this at this point. All right, so we talked about the authorized signer part. If we want to do a credit card transaction right here, it's the same thing as if we were to do projects. We click on this projects and authorized signers. We're going to go ahead and add an authorized signer. So in this case, I'm going to add myself, hit add, and finish now. That's going to allow this customer, or in my case, me, to come in and pay via credit card and add a specific project via credit card to this. So now when we're talking about how to apply a project to an invoice, right here, just the standard checkout process is going to happen first. Customer number 4, all gas comes in. We need to make sure that they are selected up there. I'm going to go the long way to select a couple items. Usually you just scan something. Okay, we're going to add these to the invoice. Now again, standard checkout procedure, F8 or checkout. Okay. Now here, I'm going to go ahead and charge versus credit card. I'm going to hit F2, charge. Here, we put in our memo or PO just like before, authorized signer. If we need an authorized signer for it, go ahead and put my name in there, or whoever you have set up. Now this is the new part. Okay, you can select a project. Now let's say that someone comes in and says, oh, this is for a brand new job, house on XYZ Street. From here, you can add a project. You just click this button, and then it comes up, and you can add a new project immediately. Now keep in mind this does require a manager's password. That way anyone can't just go in there and make a new project. So if you forget, make sure you do at least have the manager's password handy when you go to perform this. So in this case, it's under Project X. We hit Next, and then the transaction is done. So it's fairly simple as far as that goes. And now you'll be able to reference it later when they call in and say, hey, what was this charge for $22.92 on Project X? We can take a look at it. We can look at authorized signers if need be, and we can go from there. All right, how to view the information by project. There are 3 major ways that you can view this information once the transaction has already been completed. Number 1, in recent sales, and I'm going to demo this for you. You can also find it in the transaction report. You can also find it in advanced lookup, which is what I will show you. And now also, coming soon, not quite out yet, but coming soon, you'll be able to show a breakdown by project on your month-end statements, which will be a pretty cool feature as well. So if we go back over to Paladin here, so the first step in recent sales history, we're going to go into customer module, and again, we're going to select the customer that is in question here, and then we're going to select the credit tab. Under sales history, we're going to click the magnifying glass next to customer friendly. And then it goes and shows up. Now, right underneath here, you'll notice this is the new part. Right under recent sales history, it'll say projects. And it's going to have a list of both inactive and active projects. We're going to select Project X, and then there it is, the transaction right there. Now, you notice we also have this little checkbox of showing inactive projects if you need to, just in case. And now this is just like every other customer-friendly invoice in Paladin. You double-click on it, more information comes up. You can print it, email it, do whatever you need to do. The transaction report, which is under Reports, Sales Analysis, What I Need to Know, Transaction Report. Hit Next. So again, just like a standard transaction report, you filter whatever information you need to filter. If you're not sure of the customer's name, but they know the project name, that's where this comes in. Under keyword search, there's going to be active project and inactive project. So in this case, we select active project, hit run report. Now this report is going to come up with transactions. Move it over so you can see it. Now here it is, the PDF, just like a standard transaction report, but it shows up all active projects at this given time and shows all the transaction details. Excuse me. Now, one more spot on the invoice and quote screen. Under advanced lookup, let's see. Where did it go? Sorry about that. Okay, so we'll scratch that one for now. It's a little finicky as far as that goes. Yeah, sometimes it shows up and sometimes it doesn't. There we go. Okay, so we will skip that part for right now, but those are the two. So to recap, those are the two main places that you can find information by project. Under recent sales history, which again is here in the customer friendly, okay, and then you can filter it by projects here. That way you don't have to look through every single transaction for the customer. And then in the transaction report, which is going to come in really handy as far as active and inactive projects go. There is one Knowledgebase article out right now within our new help portal, which these webinars do have links to that. So if you click on help portal, it'll bring you directly to that. And if you click on about customer projects, it will also bring you directly to that Knowledgebase. Now I imagine there will be a few more Knowledgebase articles coming out as this is a new feature, so everything is still kind of in the works as far as documentation goes. Now also note, guys, that there is a new link. We have a new help portal, which replaced the customer portal, that is now live. So webinars are now found on this new site, which is portal.paladinpos.com/webinars. So keep that in mind. All right, so that's all I have for you. but it looks like we do have some questions. At least it's kind of lighting up on my end. So I want to give time to answer any sort of questions that we have going on. Chad, what kind of questions do we have?
Definitely. So just one so far from Kathy, and she's asking a great one that says, is there a way to make certain projects tax exempt, such as if a contractor was doing a job for a church or a government building or something like that?
Right. From my understanding, it's not that complex yet. So from what I know, it's going to be however the customer is set up. So if you have the customer set up for tax exempt, then it would be tax exempt. Now, if you don't, you're going to have to make those invoices themselves tax exempt, or the items
Yeah,
on the
that's
invoice
entirely
themselves.
correct. My understanding is the same, Jenny. Now, it could be coming down the pike a little bit later that's going to be changing, and you will be able to define unique tax structures for certain jobs, so to speak, but it's not quite there yet. And Kathy, just to kind of give you the solution, right now the best method for doing that is you probably is either have some sort of sticky note that tells your clerks that when ringing up tickets under this job, they need to be tax exempt, which is obviously not the best method because it requires us having to remember something. Or just create a unique account for them. We'll have the Chad Klein church job, and you just make that as a new customer and then just make that tax exempt. Now, that is unfortunate that the customer is getting multiple statements at the end of the year, but you can say, well, do you want 2 statements or do you want a tax-free job? And I bet you he'll take the tax-free job.
Right.
But yeah, we're looking to get there soon.
We are, and I wouldn't be surprised if that part comes out with the new development of statements, when statements are able to be broken down via project. I wouldn't be surprised if that part, because I have heard talk that that part is coming down the pike, and I wouldn't be surprised if that part comes out during that portion of the new feature as well. Does that answer your question, Kathy?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. You're very welcome. All right. So are there any other questions at this time as far as this feature goes?
I think we're good.
Okay, great. Well, thank you guys so much. And next week, you really won't want to miss next week's webinar. It's about our new managed service DataWise, which CJ is going to be talking to you guys about that. But a new brief. The new DataWise is going to be a way for us to do manage your guys' offsite backups, and we actually hold them in-house. So that way you guys don't have to worry about it, and it's actually free until November 1st. So it's pretty cool. And CJ is going to go into details about that, so it's definitely one you won't want to miss. It's really good information. So we will see you guys all next week.